Hey guys, and welcome back. So we're going to start a brand new how-to series on the infected, and as far as how-to goes, it's going to be probably a 5 to 6 part series on just the basics of getting started, what to do, the best order to do things in. The last time I did this, when I just looked at my YouTube, it's been a whole year, so if you want to see the changes that have taken place since then, feel free to go check those out. I'll have to probably change the titles on them so people don't get confused between the different series. If you haven't watched me before, I'm Def Spider. I make tons of content on varying games between survival and MMOs. And with that, let's go ahead and jump into this. So as I said, we're going to start off with the basics. So here's the load screen. First thing you want to do is a new game. We're going to call this one version 11. I believe the last series was made on version 5. So things are extremely different now from the last time I did one of these. So things of note you want to go through on this screen would be enable autosave. If you're one of those people who doesn't like to hit save a lot, you want the game to do it for you, you're going to want to enable this right here. It is not enabled by default. These are the default settings. That is how I play on all of my how-to series and all of my training videos. My build videos I do customize. But besides that, I will leave everything standard. But you enable autosave, that you can change if you want to still experience the game the way it's made. Head bobble, if you want to disable that, that helps some people with motion sickness. Stats depletion, if you feel like it's too much of a struggle to stay fed, you can change that. I don't think it's that big of an issue. Sun resistance is a new thing that we have not gone over yet. It is definitely an issue. So we're going to leave that enabled and go over how to survive that and keep on trucking. Free build, these are your creative settings. So if you're a senior player and you just want to jump in the game and get to doing stuff, maybe you're new to it and you just want to build, you don't plan on doing anything crazy initially, you can hover over these. It'll tell you what they do pretty much depending on which ones you enable. If you disable technologies, you'll have all the blueprints. Otherwise, you'll have to go to the villages and find them. It's going to be 3 blueprints per village. Free build, you don't need the materials, you just construct it. And then God mode, just makes you immune to all damage and stat depletion. You can also change your AI settings here, so you can change your swarm attack settings, and it can start on day 10. You can change that to whatever day you want it to start on. We're going to leave ours as day 10. I would not bump that up unless you just want to do massive amounts of swarm attacks, which could be a good thing because they bring you tons of materials when you kill the zombies. Spawn quantity, it'll be 3, and then it increases by 1 every 10 days, up to a maximum of 15. Alright, swarm frequency, it's going to happen every 3 days after the 10th day. So we won't see those until day 5. On day 5, starting at midnight, you can start to see zombies. They'll walk around. They're much harder to kill now. They don't just stand still. They bob, they weave. Their heads move around constantly, so it's harder to land those headshots. And you can enable and disable zombies. This is enable disable swarms. This is where you enable disable the zombies. You can change their stats, their damage output. Same thing for the predators. You can enable disable them. So the bears, the wolves, the foxes, they can kill you. The boars technically can kill you too if you aggro them. Like if you hit them and don't kill them in one shot. Then you can change the health of all those, the damage that they output, and then the meat that they drop. Again, we're going to leave it all standard. And with that, we can jump into our game. Like I said, we're going to call it version 11. And let's get to it. And usually your game will act like it's going to lock up or something. It might pause for a second and just let it go. It should do just fine. If not, feel free to hit us up in Discord. We can usually help you with that. A lot of times it's just a matter of checking your install files. Okay, so we are in the game. Now, if you look to the lower right, those are your stats. At the top is your weight. Below that is your health. Below that is your stamina. So if you run, which is holding down the shift button, that's how you sprint. You'll see your stamina usage is going down. If you jump, it uses stamina. And jump is spacebar, like most games. Below that is your thirst. You can see we're depleting thirst. Like 1 tick, like every, I don't know, 2 or 3 seconds. And that, I believe, is also increased now by sun. Next to that, we're getting to the new stats now. So below that on the green bar, that's going to be hunger. So your hunger is decided by all your other stats that used to all be separated and completely different. So that's your overall hunger value. To increase that, you need to eat meat, which is the brown one right below it. Next will be your, I believe that's your carbohydrates or vitamins. It's the green one below that. Then I guess that's carbs. Sorry, I'm not familiar with the new icons. And then below that, it is something, that must be vitamins below that. So let's see, we got proteins. Oh, okay, proteins, veggies, carbs, and vitamins. And then below that is going to be our energy level. Energy is regained by eating and sleeping. And then the final bar at the very bottom, this one is super important when you're just starting out. That is sun resistance. We are currently at 100 out of 100. Now, if this is not on your screen when you first log in, you can press G as in golf, and you can toggle that on and off. Now then, on the lower left, you'll notice it says hold F to view the tutorial and player stats. So we'll hold down the F key. It'll tell you, if you look in the top right screen, this is why my webcam's not on right now, so that you can see everything. Top right tells you what day you're on. Like I said, by day 5, Vampies start showing up. Day 10, we'll get attacked by a swarm. And then every 3 days after. It tells you what time of day it is. It tells you the temperature. And these are all very important things. It also tells you the month and the season. So we have a lot to do before winter gets here. That's why I'm talking so fast right now, because we need to get a lot done very quickly. So to get started, since this is just episode 1, as you notice, we've already gone over the basic controls, what everything means. You have a compass here too. So if we looked around, if we spin, the compass will move with us to find our directions. And then we'll just go through the tutorial task right here. If you want to hover over it, it gives you a little bit more specifics. And then as we complete them, it'll check mark. So first we need to gather a stone, gather a stick, and then craft a stone axe. So if you look around on the ground, you'll see there's vegetation, there's trees. So first we need to gather our sticks, a rock. We can go ahead and grab a couple of extra because we're going to need those. Alright, so if you hold down F again, the next step is to build a stone axe and craft a stone blade. Press I as in inventory, or India, however you want to say it. If you look at the top here, you have your backpack, which is your inventory bag. You have your food pack, which is a separate backpack where you store food items. Here are your weapon slots. These are going to be in relation to your number keys, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that's how you'll swap through them. The book right here, it will be your recipes. So we're currently on the construction tab, and then you can go through these to find your buildings and whatever you want to make. We'll go through that more in depth as we do it. And then you have your placeables. If you notice on the placeables, it'll say for this loom workbench right here, tech is not obtained. We'll have to find that in the villages. So anything that requires that to build like cloth, we cannot do until we get the blueprint for it. Right, and then you'll notice on these, there are more over here. So we have workbenches, storage, power, food, furniture, others. And this is all very important. We're going to need all this eventually. And then finally, most important for getting started is going to be your itempedia. So if you do not know how to build your axe, you can look right here. It'll say stick, 1 stick, and 1 small stone. It'll say stone blade is 1 small stone, and the same way for everything else for the recipes. You can also go through resources if you need help figuring out what resource looks like what and where you can find it at, or not where you can find it at, but how to craft something. You can see your seeds, food, drinks, armor and clothing, others. There's a lot of this in here that's important. Here's the list of all your blueprints. And then you have bulk items. This is for bulk crafting on the workbenches. You're definitely going to want to familiarize yourself with this and what recipes exist. And he updates these on the regular, so he'll be adding these as we go along. Alright, from that, the next thing we have is our personal crafting bench. So here is where we can craft our axe. So you can either drag 1 item over at a time. 1 stone will give us a stone blade. We did need one of those, so we can craft that in a second. Then if you hold down the shift key, hold down your left shift key, and then you right click, it'll move 1 item over. And like I said, so you can drag it, you can right click, shift right click and move it. And then for a stack, if you can do the shift right click, but it'll move the entire stack. Now if you hold shift and drag it, you can get the slide bar to pop up. And then you can just slide it over to select however many you want. We just need 1 stick. Now if you're in a chest, you can move 1 item over at a time. And you can split it here too by holding down the Alt key and right clicking. That did not mean to hit the Windows button. Alright, so we'll put that there. 1 stick, 1 stone. We'll craft our stone axe. It's going to go straight into our first slot because it's the first available. And we'll go over an issue with that. Or I guess we can go ahead and cover that really quick. So if you can't craft a tool or a weapon, and you have all the materials and the right workbench selected, the reason is going to be because all these slots are full. You cannot put tools and weapons inside of your inventory. That's one of the biggest, most important questions and tips I can give you. So always make sure if you're crafting something new, have slots on your backpack. Alright, so next we needed a stone blade. So we're just going to move 1 stone over. I just did the shift right click for that. And bam, we have a stone blade. So we can press I to get out of that screen or escape. Hold down the F key again. And now we need to gather plant fiber. So we're going to press 1 to get our axe out. And to get plant fiber, you can cut the tree. Another thing to note, if you look at our sun resistance, it's going down. Now, if you stand in the shade of a tree, it should stop. That is very important because if we get too much sun damage, we'll get sunburn, and then we'll take damage over time, and it'll deplete stats and a lot of other status elements. Now if you stand in the shade, you'll see it slowly creeping back up. So we need to build buildings at the rapid rate, and when we do a lot of work during the rain and shade time and at night. Anyways, like I said, we only have 5 days, so we need to be really fast. So if you use the left mouse button and just hold it down, you'll chop the tree down, but I'm going to show you a quick trick to get through this even faster. So there's our tree. These small ones will give us 3 logs, the next size 5, and then one past that 7. So there's 3 logs. We also got 5 pieces of plant fiber and 5 bark chips. Now save these, you're going to need them, so don't just toss them on the ground initially. You can carry 3 logs on you, but when you carry logs, you cannot jump. Right mouse button will throw the logs back on the ground. You can right click and use harvest or destroy on the logs. The logs will not disappear unless you change that and I missed it in the notes, but pretty sure these still last the whole time because I had to do a test game. It's been so long since I played just to make sure things are still working roughly the same. So like I said, you can right click, harvest it. It'll give us a bunch of sticks and things. We'll go over that later. Now then, the trick I promised to show you to cut down a tree fast. You saw how slow this is. It's terrible, right? You just sit there and wait, and we're waiting. Alright, now, so we know the axe is on our number 1 key. So if we had something on 2, I just swap to my bare fist. They don't do anything. Press back to 1. Alright, so there's our axe. Now to cut down a tree quickly, you want to press 1 and your left mouse button rapidly, alternating. So 1 left mouse button, 1 left mouse button, and just do it really, really fast. And you'll see how much quicker you chop a tree down. It's almost instantaneous. That works on all trees. It also works with the pickaxe on rocks. Alright, so I'm going to want to build close to the pond, so I'm not going to worry about cutting those trees down over there. And like I said, we need to move fast because the sun's attacking us. Our stats are depleting. As you can see, everything's going down. We're just going to cut down a decent amount of trees. And we still need to finish the quest. Watch your weight again at the top of the bottom right corner. We're at 18.7 out of 50 pounds. You're becoming overweight. You can't run fast. Now that's a deer moving over there. That's a bird. We'll go over killing all these animals in the best way as we need meat and as we get to where we need them. Now if you press M, as in Mike, you can pull open the map. It will show you everything on the map. So these pickaxes are flat zones like we're standing on that are going to almost always be next to water. The water is important because it's going to have fish in it. Also on these zones you will find 5 to 7 large rocks, and each one of those will drop 1 type of the specialty ore. Now these are the caves. The caves, you can get iron, clay from the rocks that are inside of those, and lithium, I believe it is. Let me double check, make sure I'm not lying to you. I just know that that's where you get the special metal you need to make steel. Or that's not lithium, it's lead, my bad. So that's where you get lead at. And mushrooms, which mushrooms are really important. We're going to need those to make medicated bandages, and we'll go over that when we get to it. Alright, so holding down F key, let's go ahead and knock out this tutorial. We need to craft a stone pickaxe. So again, if you don't know the recipe, press I, click on your book, go to Itempedia, hover over the stone pickaxe. It's going to be 1 stick, 1 stone blade, 2 plant fiber. So we'll just move this over, do that, and then we'll grab 2. Let's grab 2 of these. Hold down the Alt key and click with the right mouse button. You'll move 1 at a time, and then we'll craft that. Next on the list is going to be build a saw bench. We're going to go ahead and build 3 of these. I don't like to just build 1 because we're going to need a lot of planks, and that's what saw benches give us. So if you hover here, you can see the names of them all. So saw bench. We're going to build our home semi close to the water, and I like this to be kind of close to trees, so we'll just set it there. So we pressed E, and that places the template down, so you can set down as many as you'd like. We might actually do 4. I think I ran into an issue last time where I needed more. Alright, so we've got 4 of those. If you hover over it, it'll tell you what you need to add on it in the lower left corner. And we need to add 4 wood logs. So we can knock these down really quick, get these trees out of the way. Press E as an echo to pick the logs up. And we're just holding shift, we're running back and forth because we're taking sun damage. Now, while we're doing this, you want to keep your eye open for any plants. Especially potatoes. We need potatoes pretty early on. That's what's going to allow us to make the potato paste that's going to give us sun resistance. And then the other plants we need for the seeds and everything else. Let's go ahead and knock this guy down. Alright, and then we just place our logs on top of that, and we will get planks. So I'm going to go ahead and chop down enough trees to fill these up, but first, before we do that, because you see that our weight is climbing, we're going to press I. Well, actually, let's see what's in the tutorial next, before I mislead you. So we need to build a foundation, build a campfire. Alright, so before we finish this, we need to build storage, because we're going to run out of space. So we're going to go to Placeables, Storage. We're going to grab a storage container. You can move these around. We'll go over that in a minute. You can stack them on top of each other. These require 8 planks. So you can come here and right click while facing these benches. Any part of them works. You don't have to look right at the planks. And we'll place those here. Now if you can't pick those up, they take up a lot of space, as you see right here in your backpack. So if you can't pick them up, that's why. Make sure you move stuff around. You can just click and drag it and it'll move it. And that's why you won't be able to pick those up. Just drop them on the ground. They won't disappear. And then we're just going to store all this extra fiber and plant fiber for now. Or bark chips and plant fiber. So there's that storage. And then, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and fill these up with planks. And then we'll be right back. So we've gone ahead and gathered up a bunch of planks and logs. Wood logs, as you can see here. We're ready to go. We should be able to get a lot more of this tutorial done. Now we need to build a foundation. So press I again. Open your book. Click on foundations. You have 2 different types. We're just going to start off with a basic wooden foundation. We'll just set it somewhere around here. Like I said, you can move everything else around. You don't have to destroy everything unless it's a building item. Now, when we place these, like I said, you just go to your book. You can grab it. Like right here, we can't place it because it's red. Just back up. That means you're standing inside of it. Then you can mouse wheel to spin it, depending on how you want your planks to face. You can hold X as an X-ray, and you can mouse wheel. Oh, I don't know why I just did whatever it did. Try that one more time. I don't know what just happened. So let's just hold this one right here. So you can hold X as an X-ray, and you can mouse wheel up and down to control the height on it. And based on the ground type you're building on, like if you're building on mountains and things or top of rocks, sometimes it won't let you place. He's gotten rid of a lot of the collisions and changed them up a bit, so it shouldn't be too bad. And then as you can see, they will snap into place on any existing foundations. So you can go up and down with that. You place that one, you can go next to it. And you can go above that as far as you can see. You just keep doing that. We're not building anything fancy right now. Right now we're just looking to survive. We need to get everything done before wintertime gets here. So we have our 1 foundation that's being requested. This requires 4 wood logs. We'll just throw those on there by pressing E. Right click, throw them back on the ground. We'll grab some planks. 6 planks, and there is a wooden foundation. So next is to build a campfire. Now, the rain, as you can see, it's raining right now, provides shade, which is great. Also gives water if you're growing crops. But at the same token, it puts out your campfires. So we're going to build a shelter. So we'll just set that near, I like to put it near the water so it's easier to get fresh water and to cook food. So we'll just place that there. I don't believe that's in the actual tutorial to build shelter. No, I just want you to build a foundation. But trust me, build a shelter. Now this should, if I recall, take 4 wood logs. Yep. So we'll grab 4 more logs. Right. Next we need to build a campfire. So to build the campfire, come into here, go to Placeables, Food, and it'll be the first item here, campfire. Press E to set it down. It requires 10 small stone, 8 pieces of firewood. Now we can get firewood in one of 2 ways. You can cut logs, and we'll go over this now. And once you have the wood log, right click and do a harvest. That'll give you firewood and sticks. You can harvest the firewood if you need more sticks. So we're just going to take the firewood. It takes up some space in your inventory, so you can see here. You can actually get rid of some of this weight before we get slowed down, because then we'll move really, really slow. And I press E to add the materials. We'll take these sticks. And let's go ahead and build as a stick holder, because we're going to need a lot of sticks. So we'll go over here to storage, which is under placeables again. And then you have log holders, plank stands, firewood stand, and a stick stand. We're just going to place this guy right here. And again, you can mouse wheel it to move it around at whatever angle. You can also pick it up and move it later. And then we're also going to set us up a firewood holder. These require sticks, so we'll just press E to add the ones that are on us. And now we're out of sticks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to gather the stone and the firewood. We're going to finish the fireplace. I'm going to get some more sticks, and we're going to finish adding that to these. So while I'm getting all the firewood and stuff together, let's go ahead and go over this too. So the next place to get firewood would be from these stumps. You'll see them growing all around the place. Just walk to them, cut them down just like a tree. And they'll drop 4 pieces of firewood. And then I'll show you where to get the best way to get stone, so you don't have to run around looking for like little individual pieces of stone. So there's our 8 firewood. Now, you do see these large stones, boulders out here. We can break these with our pickaxe. However, if these big stones are on this flat terrain, anywhere on the map, it will drop 1 special ore out of it. So we'll go ahead and do that right now. Even using the trick, it still takes a minute to break through it. And make a note, stone weighs a lot. Now, if you look at these stones, you see one that's different. This is all small stone. This one is a copper ore. You want to save that. You're going to need a ton of that, especially with the new update pending that's coming out soon. Alright, so we've got our small stone. You see that our weight jumped up. Let's go ahead and add that over here to our campfire. And there's the campfire. And then let's slap all of our extra stuff, including the stone. We're going to save our small stone for now. Definitely save your seeds. I saw a potato plant, so I went ahead and grabbed it. And that is a potato seed. Now, our potatoes will probably go bad before we can use them for what I want. So we'll have to find some more later, but they're right here. You also start off with beef stew. And your flask is for fresh water. So our potatoes, you see the timer on them. Once that timer runs out, they will turn to spoiled food. You want to save your spoiled food at the start of the game until you have another fuel source. So we'll go over that once we get to it. It's much later down the road. So for now, any spoiled food, save it, put it in a chest. As you can see, this icon in the lower left is telling us something's wrong with our stats. If we look over here, our thirst meter is low. Okay, so we can hover over here to see what these are. So we've got proteins, carbohydrates, fats, and vitamins. And then, of course, energy. Energy is getting low because we need to eat and sleep. It's 7:51 at night already in the game, as you can see, because I'm doing a lot of talking, so I've not gotten as much done as I'd like. Anyways, if you get in dire straits, use your beef stew. If not, I would save it. If you die, you lose 1 hit point, so it's not that big of a deal. To get your hit points back, just eat food, and it'll tell you if it gives you any specialty stats at the bottom. Now then, since we're thirsty though, we can go ahead and drink this water. Make sure that you look at this and it says at the bottom, clean water 60 out of 60. We can get bigger flasks, an easier way of getting water later. Just right click on it and then hit drink, and you'll see our water meter go up. So I'm going to store the beef stew for now because we don't need it. To move those full stacks in and out, again, it's hold the shift button and use right mouse button. They go in and out. And we're going to build a ton of these crates before we're done just to store everything. Alright, let's finish the tutorial and then we're going to call it quits on this video. So we need proteins. Like I said, we found a potato plant. If I see another plant, I'll show it to you. They're pretty easily to recognize. We could hit escape, go to options, go to video, and we could turn foliage density to low, but it makes the game look really, really bad. I play on high and medium. So if you turn it to low and hit apply, you can change it while in the game, hit OK, and then escape again. You will see that you can see anything and everything on the map. I don't like that. It looks terrible. So we're going to turn ours back up, hit apply, hit OK, and then escape. Let me see. Usually the plants, you can usually find a couple just around here. You have potatoes, pumpkins, corn, watermelons, melons, cucumber. This is what you want to collect every time you see it too. This is the best way to heal until you can make med kits. So just right click on it and harvest it. And like I said, look out for specialty plants like that. Some are low growing, some are bright, some match the terrain, some are really, really, really hard to see. Also look out for dead birds. You're going to want to collect those because it'll give you feathers, and we're going to want arrows. Now then, to get our first proteins, we can either kill an animal or we can go fishing. But to do that, we're going to need to make a spear. So we're going to take that. We're going to take, I believe it's 5 of these. And then we should need 3 sticks. So what we can do, again, we can do our log trick. We can do harvest. And we can grab the sticks. We can harvest the firewood. We need some extra sticks anyways. Just press E again to pick those up. We don't need you. Harvest that guy. Alright, then we can press I. Go to our Itempedia so I can show you the recipe. It's right here. So you need 1 stone blade, 3 sticks, 5 plant fibers. So we'll click on our crafting bench. I'm holding down my Alt key and right clicking again. So there's our 3 sticks, but we need to craft our stone blade first. There we go. And then we'll do a shift now and a shift. Right mouse button. Then we'll craft our spear. It'll go into slot 3. So we have an axe, stone pickaxe, and our stone spear. Now really quick, a note to make also is if you look in the very bottom right corner, it'll say stone axe. And there's a circle there. That is our durability bar. When you break a weapon, your weapon will just go away. You don't get anything back from it. It's just gone. Now if you're using the steel tools and the iron tools and weapons, you don't want to break those. You want to repair them. But if you break them, they're gone. So we'll get to that. You know, it's way down the road. We've got a lot of workbenches and recipes to find first. Now we need to get some protein. Like I said, we can hunt animals. Birds do not give meat. So we need to go after... The easiest way when you start off is fish. Predators aren't out yet. They'll be out on, I think, day 3. So here's fish in the water. They're hard to see, especially at night. So you're going to swim around. Watch your oxygen in the top left. You will take damage. So there's a fish there. We left click. We speared it. And he's there on the end of the spear. So you can press E. It'll go to your inventory. If your inventory is full, it'll fall to the ground. All right, so let's see if we can't grab a few more. The little ones are hard to get, so you usually want to go for the larger ones. Later on, you can get a flashlight. It makes it seeing them in the water a lot easier. Currently, there is no fishing pole or fishing game. This is the fishing. And we just took damage because I didn't pay attention to my oxygen bar. But that should be more than enough for right now to get us some protein. So then we'll come over here, press I again, take your fish, drop it on the ground, right click and harvest. If we come into here, you'll see that we now have 4 pieces of raw fish. So we can come to our campfire. Let's grab, we take our sticks. You can burn anything you want on here. Bark chips, sticks, and the firewood. This meter right here will fill up based on how much you add. We're not going to add it all. We're just going to use a little bit. Take your lighter, then drag it to this. So once you have your fuel source here, then put your lighter on it. And then we can take our fish and place it on the outer white circles, and that is where you cook your proteins. You can also bake the potatoes if you want to. Not really any point in that. And then up here you see where it says dirty water. So making sure you don't have any clean water left in your canteen, you're going to come over here and face the water source. Drag your canteen over, and bam, that'll give you water. So if you do it fast enough here, you can fill this up back to 200 to get 200 clean water, and then just take what you need as you need it. And you can remap your keys if you want to in the options. I like just playing standard, so I can help anybody who's playing the game that is playing standard. So now we currently have 40 dirty water left in here. You can see our meat's cooked. If you look at the bottom of that, it says max health plus 0.05. So if we eat enough of this, our health will slowly go up. So we're just going to drag that over and put it back into our bag. Wait for this white meter to finish. It works the same way for the fish. Once that completes going all the way around, whatever you're cooking is cooked. Stuff will spoil and go bad on here, so don't just leave it. The water is fine, but any type of food source will go bad. Alright, so now we have clean water. We can take our flask with water in it and drop it on the fire. Put out the fire, yes. Then we're going to empty our flask, and then we're going to get our clean water. Now if you look down here, we're at 46 out of 100. Right click and drink. Now we're at a 100 out of 100. And we'll just grab some more because it's good to keep it on you. If you run out of water and certain stats, you will not be able to run anymore. Your stamina will not build. And it's now dark, which is a perfect time to end the video. So if we wanted to, we can crank the fire up while we close out. You can let these burn out. It's fine. It won't hurt anything. It won't destroy the campfire. It'll always be here for you. And that's going to be episode 1, guys. I hope that's helping you out. I believe we covered almost everything. Let's see. We need to build a forge. And we need to make an iron ingot. So we'll get to that on the next one. I like to build my little cabin first before we do all that. We could just build a little craft shop, but like I said, I have my ways. Everybody has their own way. You can do it the way you want to. I would try to keep the forge going a lot because we do need a lot of iron to get started. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this video, as always, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. If you have questions or comments, leave them below. I will respond in a prompt manner, usually within a few hours. And then I'll see you on the next one. It should be out in the next day or two. Thanks for watching.